can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Go. Yeah.
Good. 9/11. Woo. All right. All the folks over at YouTube should be able to hear things now. We've got a new checklist item added.
What does that make it now?
Well, it's like 10.
Things you got to do.
It's like 9 or 10 things every morning. It started out at like 4.
Right.
And so
That's
now
how they get
there's
you.
a new thing to check again. But hey, it's all awesome. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. It's a new world. Technology is going to do good things for us. Last thing on the Tennessee victory on redistricting, again, to the Alabama legislature. I know some staffers, lobbyists, people listen to the program. The strategy should have been, and don't even tell your constituents that I didn't tell y'all this until it was too late, because I've been telling y'all how to do this for, at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years from the first round.
Since it first came up.
Because, I lived through this. I went through this. I also understand some of the Supreme Court rulings before we made it to redistricting again. You could see the wave, the direction the court was going, trying to get back balanced in its approach. And I said from the very beginning, throw out all the racial demographic data from the databases that the Alabama legislature uses to draw the districts, whether it's in the House of Representatives, whether it's in the state Senate, or whether it's the congressional districts. And the congressional districts are the ones that are the most controversial, but throw out all the data on race from those databases and draw the maps based on politics. How do people vote? If white people are voting for Democrats, great. If black people are voting for Democrats, great. If white people are voting for Republicans, great. If black people are voting for Republicans, great. There's no reason to know that. But Scott, that's not how the court made us do it. We had to do it. I get it. And Sky, the best excuse I can give is, how we as human beings, we kind of get stuck in a rut. That's the way we've always done it. That's the way they made me do it. We've always done it that way. And I was in charge about 20 years ago, and that's the way we had to do it. And I'm still in charge. I'm 1,008 years old, but I'm still in charge of this, Scott. And we're going to do redistricting this way. That's the way they always made us do it. Yeah, but I don't want to hear any buts. Yeah, but we are cursed in America with this mindset of that there is nothing new. You can't teach me anything. We try on this show to be open to, I didn't know that. Oh, really? Oh, that's a possibility. Well, let's look into that. I wasn't taught that, but that might be true. It's all part of the red pill process. But when it comes to healthcare, we talked about this earlier in the week. When it comes to healthcare, it's like, no, what I was taught when I was in medical school, that is the gospel till the end of time. Well, guess what? There's only one gospel. There's only one set of God's word. That's the stuff that doesn't change. Everything else, hey, there might be something we don't know. Maybe we need to maneuver a little bit around it. But you know what? We wouldn't even have a country if old guys had been able to move and adapt. But thankfully, the British decided they needed to line up in straight lines in open fields, and we tried to do it with them too for a long time.
Yeah,
and
that's the way it's always been done.
Finally, somebody, and it's in that movie, Young Washington, finally somebody said, hey, you remember when we were fighting those Indians? Because you could say Indians back then.
Yes.
You remember we were fighting those Indians? They kept standing behind trees and shooting us. Yeah.
But it turns out that was cultural appropriation, Scott. So
we couldn't do it.
If the leftists were around back then,
You can't hide behind a tree and shoot at anybody.
No.
So, but this whole concept of, just trying to, please, we've always done it this way. And, now that's the best case scenario, is that we're just sticks in the mud. We're led, and I know how the legislature's set up, and we're led by people who are not incapable, but unwanting to bend from this is how we've always done it. I know more. We passed, we got this done in the past, and we must do this. I got it. On the other end of the spectrum is the idea that we have some folks who want to help Democrats nationally and did everything in their power to make sure that Alabama didn't send one more extra Republican congressman to Congress after this next election. Now, we all immediately have a knee-jerk reaction and say, that cannot be true, Scott. No, my guys are solid. Really? Did you see them getting out on the edge? Did you see them doing the fight? Did you see them saying, hey, yeah, let's do what we can to get all Republicans?
No,
Scott, I don't know about that. Okay, well, tell me why the United States Senate can't pass the SAVE Act. Oh, because in Washington they have some rhinos, Scott. Yeah, I don't know if you know what rhinos means, but rhino, Scott, is Republican in name only. You probably haven't heard of that, Scott, but they have some up there, and we don't have any in Alabama, do we?
Okay.
You know,
right?
It's that kind
Do
of thing.
people actually believe that?
I think there are people who believe that. It's part of the whole concept behind I hate Congress, but I love my congressman.
Right.
It's part of that. Sky, you don't even know how many times I've been places back in and I'm like, hey, what do y'all think about so and so? And I know the guy votes like just trash. I mean, he's always voting left, hard left, taxes, more regulation, more power to the big corporations, less power to the people, incentives for everybody except the regular guy, the whole 9 yards. Anything he can do for illegal immigration, all of it. And somebody will say, yeah, but he comes to the pancake breakfasts, and I talk to him. I'm like, it's my famous thing of, well, then bring him home. You can see him every day. Don't send him down there to make my life miserable. Well, I'm trying to do what you want me to do. But no, he's my guy. Do you know how many people in our state, Sky, in every state, vote for folks because they were nice to them? Vote for people because they literally come to the pancake breakfast? Vote for people because every year they come to the watermelon peanut pine needle festival that they have, and they're like, he comes every year. Yeah, but he votes like trash. Why do you care if he comes every year? But we do, Sky. We do. It is a giant miscongeniality contest. It's a giant popularity contest. Well, I see him at the ballpark, Scotty. He comes every year and gives us money. I'm like, that's your money. You know that, right? That was taxpayer money. He's not sacrificing. He didn't tell his wife, honey, you're going to have to keep your old car for at least the rest of this quadrennium because I'm going to give all the money we're going to pay for your car to the school. That didn't happen. He's not doing
such a nice guy.
He's not doing missionary work for y'all. But we do it all the time.
It's just dumbfounding how we choose candidates.
I try to say so people understand. Say, look, I want my legislator to be Nick Saban in his prime. You know what? He's not even coming to your event because he's focused on what he's doing, and he's not even nice about it.
No, he'll tell you exactly how it is.
But when he votes, when he does his job right. Does anybody ever doubt that Nick Saban fought to have the best team he could possibly have? Undeniable. Does anybody remember back in the day when most people just didn't even like him because he was so focused on being the best coach possible that he did not have time for all your little social butterfly stuff.
And who disliked him the most? The media.
Yes.
Because he didn't suffer fools.
Nope, he did not. And he didn't spend his time trying to make sure you liked him or that I liked him or that we loved him on a personal level. Now, is he an agreeable, likable guy on television? I think he is. That's probably who he really is. But when he had a job to do, the job was number one. But we vote for the legislator that we would fire as being our football coach. And we won't hire the guy that would win us a national championship.
Wow.
Because
Right there.
he doesn't come to the pancake breakfast. We'll be back.
So you can learn things, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate
And
that, Fred. Thank you.
but that's true, and I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. I am serious.
We have to stop kowtowing to every little thing that they have said is bad and evil, and they don't get to decide what is right and wrong. I'll bank my money on what God, the creator of the universe, says is right and wrong. It's worked very well for Western society for 2 millennia, and we've got to get with it. Got to fight the fight. We got to get after it. It's ridiculous. I'm just tired of great Americans being ripped to shreds, history going away, and all of us cowering around because we're afraid somebody's going to call us a bad name. It is time to save the republic.
You're listening to Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
We are back, everybody. Let's get out to your phone calls. Let's go to John. John, welcome to the program. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. Top of the morning.
Top of the morning to you.
This issue yes, with regard to race, and they're dividing the legislative lines or trying to do that with regard to race. Give you a quick background on my observations of that through the years. When I was a kid, of course, I was in the first class that went first grade through graduation that was integrated. But I noticed when I got into high school, back then, it's hard for some to remember this, but these kinds of things, but we had a black homecoming queen and king, and then we had a white homecoming king and queen.
Really?
I thought that was kind of strange, and they often and then they decided, we don't need to have that. We need to unite and just have one of each, one of them.
Right.
We don't need a divided school along racial lines.
Uh-huh.
Then I got to college and went into education, and they told us we don't need to look at race and that kind of thing. And we did that in workshops, but then the first day of school, Scott, we had to divide everyone up, boy, girl, black, white, every time. Because that was tied to the money that we were given for programs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to discover the racial demographic. And all that time, I was taught that it's not supposed to matter.
Right.
And it shouldn't matter. And so we continue to do that partially because it's tied to dollars, and it is a traditional thing to divide it up along racial lines. But until we get over that, we're not going to have a united country.
I agree with you. And I think what we have done is we've embedded race more deeply into the American psyche. We had just about, in my opinion, gotten over the hump. And then Barack Obama was a big problem for getting over race. But I think doing all the counting, doing all the checking, and again, look, I'm being too nice. It's a Friday, I guess, John, and I'm weak or something. But there were the folks who convinced themselves that everybody was out to get all the minorities and out to pull something over on everybody. Therefore, everything had to be tracked according to race to make sure that no one was being done wrong. And I'm sure you were an educator in the times when they started saying, "Hey, look, you gotta stop. You can't keep suspending certain groups of kids if they're minority kids, because the data is going to show that 85% of the time we're suspending minority kids." Right. And so you got to stop it. You can't do that. We can't have the numbers look that way. And then there was always the guy in the rooms, usually a guy, who says, "Yeah, but that's the reality of what we're facing." And then everybody looks at him like, "You need to shut up." Is that not true?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
It happened throughout my career. They were always. It's just like with arrests. If you arrest too many minority people, well, then you're targeting minority people.
Mm-hmm.
It could be because they are doing more crimes.
Yes.
You ever even thought about it? Because I think cops are like substitute teachers.
Okay.
Along these lines, a substitute teacher, for example, they don't want any problems.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want any issues at all. They don't want to turn anybody in. They just want to make it through the day with as little problem as possible. And I think a policeman's the same way. They don't arrest people, most of them, unless they think something's wrong.
Yeah.
And they think you're going against the law. I mean, they would just as soon sit in their car all day, ride around, and not have any problems at all. But when they see people breaking the law, they pull them over and they do something about it.
Right.
Because it's an easier day, Scott, if they don't have to deal with somebody that's breaking the law.
Yeah, you're a lot less likely to get shot if you're not pulling people over.
Right. Right.
Hey, John, I got to take a break, buddy.
Sure. Take care.
All right, buddy. Have a great weekend, man. Good call. We'll take a break. We got a special guest coming up. You don't want to miss it. We'll be back. culture writers, contributors from the Fred and Rita Skelton Center for Cultural Renewal. 1819 News is, in the spirit of Nehemiah, they're trying to rebuild the walls of culture and good society while defending against the attacks of those who seek to corrupt the youth and degrade our civilization, which is a really nice way of saying, hey, look, we're just trying to get back to good values. There are things that worked. They've always worked. They've been honed and perfected through the years of Western civilization. And you know, I really enjoy talking to these folks. We had 3 or 4 different people already doing our Skelton Center for Cultural Renewal segments, and you can find more of that over at 1819 News. Just go to 1819news.com and go to culture. This week, we've got Elijah Newcomb. Elijah, welcome to the program. I hope you are doing well.
I'm doing well, Scott. I'm glad to be with you this morning.
Well, I'm glad that you're going to take time with us. And is that me, Sky, or is that Elijah? You don't have a Bluetooth on or anything, do you?
No, sir.
Okay.
I do not.
You're just echoing a little bit, but that could be me.
Man.
So here's the deal. Earlier in the week, we've been talking about AI data centers and things of that nature. And when I saw your article, I was like, I hope we can talk about this one, because what I had said was the state of Alabama is just, we're trying our best. Our leadership from the future governor's office down through the legislature is like, hey, we need AI this, we need data center that, and we're going to get behind and all this kind of stuff. And through the years, I've kind of started leaning towards this position, Elijah, of, you know what, it's fine. It's just fine. I don't care if we're on the cutting edge of everything. I don't care if we have everything that everybody else does. And I actually said on the show, I would be fine if the whole state just kind of became Amish and we weren't always chasing the latest trend that turns out most of the time not to be so good for us. And then lo and behold, you have an article that comes out, you know, it was a few days ago and I wasn't even aware of it, that says mastering technology the Amish way. And so I'm really excited to talk to you about this. So tell us what your premise is, and we'll discuss it.
Yes, sir. So basically, I apologize for the echo. So
it's okay.
As you can tell, I'm a bit of a tech skeptic. I still have an iPhone 10.
Yep.
So basically, my premise is that the Amish just have a healthier way of relating to technology, and that we can learn something from them. And so the basic premise is that the Amish, what they do is they take a trial period when they introduce a new technology into the community, and then they wait to see what effects does this have downstream, and do we like them? Do we not like them? If they don't like them, they leave the technology in the dustbin, and if they like them, they adopt them and they move forward. But they're aware of what the technology is going to do. So basically, my thought is, you know, we can learn to slow down and think about what we're doing before we adopt new technology.
So right off the bat, Elijah, so you're telling me, because I don't have a super good understanding of the Amish worldview, I would say most of us think that, well, they're just against technology altogether. They, you know, no electricity, live like they're in the 1800s. So that, you're telling me that's not the case. They're not just opposed to technology. They'll try it and they'll see how it affects their families, their community, their culture in general. Is it a positive thing for their lifestyle, their emotional well-being, their spiritual well-being? Kind of how do they do that?
Yeah, all of the above. So, like you said, they might be a little more skeptical than we would be. So they tend to live a couple centuries back as a rule. But from community to community, they actually have different rules. So you might visit one Amish town and then go across the street, and they might have different technology. And it's because each community makes sure that what they are adopting is going to be a good fit for them and their way of life. So they want to ensure that, you know, the family dynamics aren't messed with. They want to make sure that the community is still strong. They want to make sure it doesn't affect their responsibilities to God and to worship.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, each Amish community actually is going to adopt different technologies based off what they feel helps them to be fulfilled and be happy and live healthy, God-fearing lives.
You have a paragraph that says, when the Amish believe a tool might be useful, they introduce it slowly and deliberately. They pay close attention to the ways it shapes their lives. For example, listen to this guy, switching from oil lamps to flashlights might save time and effort, but it would almost eliminate a meaningful responsibility that Amish children have within the community, which is trimming and maintaining the lamps. So they're to the point of like, hey, this is something that helps our children develop responsibility, part of their chores, so that they can grow up to be better citizens. And if we get rid of this by switching to flashlights, then we lose that aspect of being able to train our children to raise them to be the best people possible. We never think about stuff like that, Elijah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could point out, it's not that they don't think that a flashlight would be easier. I mean, they know that it would be easier, but that's kind of not the point. The trade-off is, do we want to make this work more efficient, or do we want to keep our kids integrated into the life of the community? And so they just recognize that there's going to be pros and cons to every decision, and they are smart enough to slow down and think about those.
Yeah. No, it actually makes sense, and I've thought that maybe it's because I'm getting older. I'm not terribly old. I don't feel like I'm old. Well, maybe in the morning when I first get up, I feel like I'm old, but just some of the simplicity of things that now I appreciate having to take care of, or it's not automated. I appreciate having to set my watch because I have one that you have to wind. It's you basically have to tip it back and forth to wind it. You don't even wind it up with the bevel, but it always runs out at night, and I have to set it. And yeah, there's probably easier ways, and there's a battery, but there's a certain allure to the simplicity of, hey, this just mechanically works, and it actually does. I mean, it's good. Now, I also love my other watches. I have an Apple Watch that my daughter gave me and things like that, and I use them from different times. But just the concept of maybe this was a better thing. The first example I thought of was just the rush in our schools to get rid of books so we could all have tablets and laptops, and it's going to be awesome, and we need to get rid of chalkboards, and let's have smart boards and think of all the wonderful things we can do. And I would argue that our reading levels are worse, our comprehension levels are worse, and so technology didn't do what it promised us it would do. It probably was more debilitating than helping.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, education's a big one. But, I always think of social media. If we could go back to before everyone had it, if we could just stop and think, I feel like every day I read some kind of article about how social media has done something to our attention spans or made us more lonely. But it's like you said, there's like a fear of getting left behind. So if we don't race to adopt these things, if we don't get rid of books, well, then the school down the street is going to be more advanced and our students are going to get left behind. So we feel compelled by competition to adopt whatever new fancy thing comes out. And then, like you said, we look back and the bed's already been made. Now we have to lay in it.
Yeah, and we can't get back out of it. It is a huge hill to climb back up to try to reverse it, where they say you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube again. But if you had just squeezed out a little bit and really looked at the toothpaste, we could have put the cap on it and stopped it, but we didn't.
Absolutely.
Hey, yeah. Elijah is with us. Elijah, can you stick with me one more segment?
Yes, absolutely.
Elijah Newcomb, who's got a great article over at 1819 News, part of the Skelton Center for Cultural Renewal. He is with us on our Friday edition of the program. We'll be right back.
show, you can learn things. And I appreciate that.
I appreciate
And,
that, Fred. Thank you.
But that's true, and I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. I am serious.
We have to stop kowtowing to every little thing that they have said is bad and evil, and they don't get to decide what is right and wrong. I'll bank my money on what God, the creator of the universe, says is right and wrong. It's worked very well for Western society for 2 millennia, and we've got to get with it. Got to fight the fight. We got to get after it. It's ridiculous. I'm just tired of great Americans being ripped to shreds, history going away, and all of us cowering around because we're afraid somebody's going to call us a bad name. It is time to save the republic.
You're listening to Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Elijah Newcomb is with us. He has an opinion piece over at 1819 News you can check out. He's part of the whole effort of the Fred and Rita Skelton Center for Cultural Renewal. It's a great group trying to do really good work, and I appreciate Elijah being part of that. Elijah, welcome back to the program. I guess I want to brag on you a little bit. Your byline over at 1819, Elijah is a Birmingham resident, Sky, and it gets better. A graduate of Auburn University, but he did go, he's also a graduate of Beason Divinity School at Samford University.
Is that a relation?
Well, technically yes, but my name is BEA. This is BEE. And so what's the University of Alabama School of Law? You will matriculate at the University of Alabama School of Law this fall, where he hopes to further his interest in religion, law, and public life with a particular focus on protecting Christian values in the public square. Elijah, I know you're not necessarily thinking I'm going to ask about this, but how you think Christian values are going to go with the old law school?
Yeah, I'm worried about it. I'm praying through, but I've already met some great friends over in Alabama. I can speak really highly of the dean and associate dean. They're good, faithful men, and a couple of them are elders of their church. And so
very Very good.
I think, yeah, we'll be good.
They could. We could use a few more lawyers that have a Christian worldview. That's for doggone sure. So I wish you the best in that. Sky and I were talking during the break, kind of trying to flesh out this whole idea of that the Amish test technology to see how it affects themselves and their communities. And our question really is, what kind of advice would you give us as families and as communities and as a state to help us maybe think about this more or slow down a little more, or is it just something we're going to have to do as individuals and nuclear families? Because you're right. I think it's the whole fear of missing out. I've got to do it. They've got it down the street. I mean, all their kids have iPads, and they're going to be so much smarter than my kids. Now, they may have mental health issues, but they're going to be smarter than my kids, so I've got to get it too. What's your advice to us, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the lower or the smaller level of community that, like you said, nuclear families, I think it's totally possible in one household, especially for a mother and father to think about, what are we letting our kids use? But even, this is a silly example, but it's always one that I think of. The reason that we stopped putting front porches on American homes is because we put air conditioning in our homes. Now, let me tell you, I just got back from Europe, and I'm very grateful that we have air conditioning here.
Very thankful. And ice.
Yeah, very true. But there's parts of me that I didn't get my grandparents' experience of walking down the front street and seeing my neighbors out on the front porch.
Right.
So it's little things like that. Just trying to be as aware as possible about what if we put this in our home, what are we going to lose and what are we going to gain? Because everything that we adopt, we're going to lose something and we're going to gain something. Mm-hmm. And then just be sure, consider, is that something you want to do or not? But I think you could do it at a homeschool co-op level. You can do it at a local church level. Just the larger, if you can get a whole community on board, I think we can have access to bigger and bigger groups that can do this.
That's a good point.
That would be my advice.
Yeah, so because I used to think about it, it never happened. We'd be in Sunday school or wherever, and all of us would have children about the same age. It's kind of how it all works out, and everybody's saying, well, yeah, I don't think we should get our kids cell phones until, and most of us held out. The goal at that time was hold out till junior high, which, heck, that'd be a victory these days. But hold out till junior high, and because it would make it easier if my kids were told, well, you got to do this or you got to do that, or we're not going to get this. If their best friends were your kids, and they're like, well, Elijah's kids can't do it either, it makes it easier. I'm not saying that we worry about what our kids say. I'm just saying the more people in the community that are trying to do the same kinds of things, everybody working together would make it an easier thing to accomplish.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't think the Amish couldn't do it unless they did it as a community.
Right.
Right. I think there's something to learn there.
Absolutely. Well, Elijah, I want to give you the last word if you've got some other advice. Scott, do you have a question?
Just want to go back to this initial conversation about the Amish and the flashlight.
Okay.
And the children no longer had to put oil in the lamp and trim the wick and light. And I wonder, Elijah, do you think technology is making us weak in some ways? Because I do. In other words, when you take the children no longer milk the cow. Okay, so they don't have the appreciation for where the milk comes from. We come to such a point that people have no hand whatsoever in their daily bread. Idle hands in the devil's workshop. They have actually they don't even have to go to the store to get it anymore. It's delivered by DoorDash.
Right.
And I think not only does it take us away from how we were intended, how we were made to work for our daily bread, it also we don't have the gratitude or the appreciation for these gifts. And I think it has a lot to do with the human condition and where we're at now, this lack of fulfillment, this lack of purpose, and mostly a lack of gratitude for what we have.
I think that's exactly right. You know, when we adopt things, the first generation to do it, they still might see it as a tool, right? It's something that they've lived without.
Right.
But your kids are going to grow up with it as just being part of the world. You know, like a kid can't imagine a life without a mobile phone. And so one of the things I'm worried about is the way that we approach AI right now. It's like, oh, this newfangled tool that's going to help us out. And sure, it will in some ways. But, you know, what's going to happen 2 generations from now when our kids have never really had to learn to think on their own?
Exactly.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you, Elijah. You're putting us out 2 generations before we figure out we don't think on our own. I think we're there pretty much now. Trying to be, Elijah's not been as cynical as we are.
Yeah, he'll have to stick around a little longer to get to that level, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to remember anything.
No.
We don't have to create anything. We don't have to. The direction AI is taking us, Elijah. I mean, our kids are. I don't know what.
Think about how many phone numbers could you remember in childhood?
Still can remember. But
Right.
now I can't remember any of my new friends' phone numbers because my phone takes care of that for me. I haven't memorized anything.
Yeah, I'm 28. I know my childhood phone number, but I don't know my wife.
I got you beat since I'm older, Elijah. I know my wife's cell phone number because we had flip phones and bag phones together. I have no idea what my 3 children's phone numbers are. None. Like, I can't even give you the first numbers, Sky,
I don't either. Come to think of it.
because they're in my phone as
I don't need to use my brain for that.
Right.
So
golly. Well, Elijah, I thought you were going to be a positive guest, but you've depressed me.
My apologies.
well, he did offer some solutions. Now let's be fair.
But he's good. So
Oh, that's a great article. Elijah, thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you. Elijah is part of that Skelton Center for Cultural Renewal. You can find his article over at 1819news.com/culture. Elijah, have a great one, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
thank you, gentlemen. Likewise.
Hey, very good, very good. Sky, you know, it's just one of those things that this is the kind of thing we ought to all talk about over the weekend. This is the kind of thing you ought to talk about to your buddies at the ballpark or practice or whatever is happening right now, because that whole idea that the Amish, and look, I thought the Amish just said, we're not going to do anything. And that's why I always wondered how you get them to come build you a barn, or, you know, they're using power tools. And then some people are like, well, that's somebody else's power tools, but they can go and work there, but not use themselves. But this concept that they test it out, they see, is it going to be good for us or bad for us as a community, as a family, I think that is that's actually brilliant.
It really is. Instead of just rushing into the next new thing,
Right.
actually seeing how it affects everyone in the community,
Right.
perhaps first. There's something to be said for that. It's a little discipline, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, and the ability to say, hey, no, this is just not going to be good for us. Yes, there's good things from it, but in the long term, it is not positive for us as human beings. That is brilliant.
I think you can apply some of this to their background, as we discussed earlier. These daily tasks and this hard work that they have to put in to create things, rather than going with the instant technology. It
Right.
reinforces competence, independence, responsibility, and self-reliance, because you had to put some work, and for your children as well, instead of having this instant everything.
Well, as part of that, where's that quote I saw earlier? I saw it about a week ago the first time. It's popped up 2 or 3 times since. I don't know who said it. Maybe St. Augustine or somebody. Maybe Joey will come in early. We can find out. It was something along the lines of just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean it's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
And we do a lot of that. We do a lot of, by golly, it's my right. And we need it, and it's a right. I want to be able to do it. Were you going to do it? No. It's bad for me and my family, but we all need to be able to do it. We do a lot of that.
Yeah, just because you can does not
Right.
make it right.
And just because we can, or we think theoretically we can, doesn't mean it ought to be something we as a community should do or allow.
Testify. Yes.
So, and by the way, did you know that the Amish are Anabaptist?
What does that term mean?
I don't
exactly?
know. I just read it in the article.
I know that Methodism is a rejection of Calvinism, but
I don't know what Anabaptist is, but we should have asked Elijah. We got to take a break. We'll be back. Bank my money on what God, the creator of the universe, says is right and wrong. It's worked very well for Western society for 2 millennia, and we've got to get with it. Got to fight the fight. We got to get after it. It's ridiculous. I'm just tired of great Americans being ripped to shreds, history going away, and all of us cowering around because we're afraid somebody's going to call us a bad name. It is time to save the republic.
You're listening to Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
So we're back, everybody. Here it is, Sky. Here's your answer. Anabaptist.
Not anti, but Anna.
No, Anna, not anti-Baptist.
Okay.
Anabaptist. Anabaptist, which the P in Alabama is pronounced as a B. Baptist, not Baptist. Nobody says that. Baptist. The comes from the Greek, meaning one who baptizes again. It refers to a 16th century radical Reformation movement whose followers rejected infant baptism in favor of conscious, quote, believer's baptism for adults.
I'm somewhat in favor of that.
I'm Baptist. I think that may be it.
Well, you need to make a conscious decision to accept Christ, and I mean, I don't mind that. If you want to do it when you're a child, it's a ritual thing. But
because infant baptism was the social and legal norm, this movement was seen as a radical threat to the existing social order. Early adherents were heavily persecuted, and being rebaptized was often a capital offense.
Man,
I don't know if we really understand what the religious persecution was in Europe at one point in time, and how we ended up with the our quote-unquote freedom of religion, which was about the different denominations of Christianity, but it's been skewed by our wonderful court system to mean Satanism is on a equal footing with Christianity. That's where the court is. I'm sorry, I know that bothers some of y'all, but says that believers' baptism, they argue that only those old enough to understand and profess their faith should be baptized. They also, the Anabaptists, strictly refuse to participate in war, carry weapons, or swear civil oaths.
Now, where are they today?
They're Amish. The Amish are Anabaptists. I don't know if there's other Anabaptists, but the Amish are. They believe that church should be a voluntary community distinct from civil authority, rejecting state-run churches. Which I understand. If this church said, hey, no, you got to do it this way, and they're like, that's not what we believe. That's not what the Bible says. You better do it this way. Well, that's not what the Bible says. We'll execute you for it. That would tend to make you say, hey, let's not have the state-run church. While the original 16th century reformers called themselves brethren, modern heirs to this tradition carry on these historic peace and baptism values. The most notable modern groups are, here we go, the Mennonites.
Yes, familiar with them.
Familiar with those. The Amish.
Yes, of course.
And the Hutterites. Never heard of that. An Anabaptist group that, similar to early Christian communities, practices the common ownership of goods. Huh.
Did you say guns?
Goods. Common ownership of goods.
Okay, goods. I found my religion, baby. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of interesting stuff. I had no idea what Anabaptist.
I did not either.
Meant. But. So huge win for the Tennessee GOP. We got that one. We got. Do we even care? Nobody cares. Apparently, another Mexican mayor has been killed.
I did see that. Yes, and do you have the circumstances surrounding his
See who wrote this story.
demise?
Paul Saran. The security situation in Mexico continues to deteriorate. I can't believe that with the leadership they have. I can't even imagine that societal decay is going on down there. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum took office back in October of 2024. At least 14 sitting mayors have been assassinated.
Since she came to office.
Since October of 24, Sky. How do we miss? Do we have news agencies in this country, really?
No.
Now, I understand it's a foreign country. I get it. But it's right beside us, okay? It's Mexico. People vacation, or used to, in Mexico. And when you have a country right beside you that 14 mayors, how many mayors have been assassinated in America in the last 2 years? You remember any stories of mayors being assassinated?
Zero.
Yeah. But 14 of these, 3 mayors were killed in the first half of 2026. So we're at what month are we? 7? We in the 7th month? So they're losing a mayor every 2 months. Every 8 weeks, a mayor gets assassinated.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that there's a common denominator in all these murders. Just a hunch.
Small town mayor, Central Mexico, shot inside of town hall after surviving a previous assassination attempt. The town of Termoac, located in the state of Morelos, a region close to Mexico City, where several drug cartels are active.
There you go.
And again, Americans make good decisions, Sky, when we know the facts and when we know the background and when we understand human nature and that people are sinful and that we have to be on the alert and we have to be ready. And it's my feeling, and I could be wrong because they may not be smart enough for this, but our media doesn't really tell us about things like this because they don't want us to even think about, even consider pondering that this is what happens when you allow your society to degrade more and more, and you allow more and more crime, more and more gang and drug activity, and you eventually reach a tipping point where the criminals are calling the shots. I mean, what are these towns going to do? I mean, how do you stop it? Are you going to be the next mayor that stands up and says, you know, we have this imagery of, oh no, the next guy we'll elect a legislator, guy who's going to fight for us. We're going to elect a mayor that's going to fight for us. These little towns in Mexico elect somebody who I'm sure says, I'm going to fight for you. He says something like, hey, maybe we ought to not allow the drug cartels to steal our daughters. And it's what happens. You think that do we think they got there in one day? Do you think they started this and just overnight this happened to them? No. They turned a blind eye. Other government officials said, oh, no, we're good with, Jose Quickdraw McGraw, whatever his name is. He's fine. You know, where? And it just got worse and worse and worse. And when they went around the turn, they can't get back. We'll be back, though.
You can learn things, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, Fred. Thank you.
But that's true, and I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. I am serious.
have to stop kowtowing to every little thing that they have said is bad and evil, and they don't get to decide what is right and wrong. I'll bank my money on what God, the creator of the universe, says is right and wrong. It's worked very well for Western society for 2 millennia, and we've got to get with it. Got to fight the fight. We got to get after it. It's ridiculous. I'm just tired of great Americans being ripped to shreds, history going away, and all of us cowering around because we're afraid somebody's going to call us a bad name. It is time to save the republic.
You're listening to Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Golly, bum, the day is flying by. Let's get out to your phone calls quickly. Brad from Crimestone County. Brad, welcome to the program. I hope you're well.
No, doing great, Scott. Hope you're doing well as well.
I am.
So a couple things. A couple things. Number one, I think that quote you're looking for is Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
That is super true. Whether it's AI, cloning, mRNAs, the whole 9 yards, they didn't stop to think whether they should. That's a good point.
Yeah. I tell you what, I feel you on trying to keep your kids innocent and trying to keep from introducing technology that will corrupt them. We managed to keep phones out of our kids' hands until they started driving. We thought we really need to be able to keep up with them. Or I've got one right now who just started work at Chick-fil-A. He can't drive yet, but because they do so much of their scheduling and stuff with the phones, like, okay, I guess we will give in just a little bit early on that.
Yeah.
But one other thing I want to throw in, you were talking about the Anabaptists, and yes, it is true that historically they have been nonviolent and didn't want to participate in war, didn't want to participate in the state. But have you ever heard of a fellow named Dan Carlin and his podcast series called Hardcore History?
I have not, but I'm going to look it up. Dan Carlin, Hardcore History.
Yes, it is fascinating, and he has now. So the way he does it, like a lot of podcasters do these days, they release podcast episodes, and then after, and it's free at the beginning, but then after some time, they'll go behind a paywall. Well, this one will cost you $3. This particular episode that I'm talking about, but it's called Prophets of Doom, and it is about the Anabaptist takeover of Münster, Germany, and it is fascinating. When you got about 4.5 hours and can listen to it all the way through, definitely. Drop $3 and add it to your podcast player and listen, because it is really, really something. This is one time when the Anabaptists did not eschew war.
So give us the trailer version, the 60 seconds version of what happened.
Well, he starts the episode talking about some, just absolutely brutal torture that 3 men are being put through, and how the public are cheering it on, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes back and tells the story about how these 3 men were part of a takeover of Münster, Germany, and how it was like David Koresh before David Koresh. It descended into some really, really sick stuff. Confiscation of property, taking men's wives and having multiple wives and that sort of stuff. The prince bishop of the town ends up having to besiege his own town, trying to restore order. So it is really, really something.
Wow.
I can't do it justice in 60 seconds for sure.
No, Brad, I'm going to try to take a look at that. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, Prophets of Doom.
Yes, fascinating. Now, I hate to disagree with Red Top too much. He would say, well, this is why you need a magisterium to help you interpret the Bible. I said, no, that's not the lesson to take from this. The lesson to take is you need to confine yourself to what the Bible says, rather than listening to some guy who says, well, the Spirit tells me that I can take your wife.
I'm going to agree with you, Brad.
Excellent.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Take care. Have a good day.
Yes, sir. Have a great weekend. We got to take a break, Sky?
We have 1.5 minutes, actually.
A minute and a half left?
Yeah,
okay.
Before the top of the hour.
So I went to the old computers, and I erased it, but since we have a minute. So I was asking about the drug cartels in Mexico.
Right.
And I said, are they into the occult? And AI's like, oh, absolutely.
A straight answer.
Yes.
For once.
But here's where it gets weird, okay? So I'm reading about their occult practices, and they merge portions of Catholicism with, that's not the occult part, don't get all wound up, with the old Mesoamerican Aztec kind of beliefs and all this stuff and dark magic. And I said, oh, so they're Satanist. Guess what AI says?
They agreed with you?
No.
No.
It says
okay.
no.
They're occultists, but not Satanists.
Yes.
Okay, I'm all caught
Which
up.
tells you where AI is and where the left is and where all this stuff is. You can be into Wicca. You can be into, all kind of dark magic, all this demonic activity. And then when someone says, well, yeah, they must be Satanist. No. Not at all.
You don't know what real socialism is, Scott.
That's what I'm kind of getting at.
It's the same
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you clearly that's demonic, maybe.
Well, nobody's ever tried real Satanism before. What?
And that's the problem. Our kids get all of their information from just a quick search like this.
Yeah, and they don't know to ask the follow-up questions. Or what you have to do is literally cross-examine.
Yes. And still be aware that, hey, somebody's worldview says, oh, no, when it's all the same. If you're on the side of darkness and you're into all this occult stuff and witchcraft and sorcery, you're on the side of Satan. No, we're not.
No matter what AI says.
Correct. That needs to be another one of our shirts. No matter what AI says, ... We'll be back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason, your news and headline headquarters.
Third half, Alabama Unfiltered Radio. Let's go out to some of your phone calls. Rokon, is it Rokon 2's first, Sky?
Yes, that's correct. You got it.
Rokon Tour, welcome to the program.
Good morning and happy Friday.
Thank you.
Happy Friday to you.
When you're living in a world where you have to constantly tap the sign, you always want to listen to a radio host that taps the lid.
Wait,
say that again?
Give me that again. I need to write this down, man. Okay.
When living in a world where you have to constantly tap the sign,
okay,
listen to a radio host who taps the lid.
Ooh,
I got
profound.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. I'm tapping this lid right here because I got to get my. Otherwise, it gets moisture all over. The condensate drops on the table. So go ahead, Rokon Tour.
Yeah, on the topic of adopting technology, when I worked in healthcare, one of my favorite sayings was, "I want to be cutting edge, but I don't want to be a guinea pig."
So you're not new to these pithy statements, huh?
No. I've been runner-up a couple of times for Dad's Joke of the Year.
I was thinking you're going with, I want to be cutting edge, but I don't want to get cut doing it.
Yeah.
That's close.
For example, did you know that Jägermeister was invented as a cough medicine?
No way. Sky needs to hear that one. Sky, did you hear that?
I'm off the phone. Okay,
he said
go ahead.
Jägermeister was invented as a cough medicine.
Okay, I can believe that.
Yeah. So sometimes you just, because you can do something, you shouldn't.
Good point.
Do you think it was really invented as a cough medicine, or does somebody's wife say, "What the heck are you doing with that stuff?" I swear, honey, it's cough medicine.
It was the 1930s in Germany. They had plenty of other stuff to do.
Those wacky Germans. At it again.
So yeah. Speaking of Germans, to talk about one of those Anabaptist groups that you mentioned that you weren't familiar with, the Hutterites.
Yes.
Never heard of them.
Basically, they're up in the Plain States, Montana, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Canada, out that way.
Okay.
They immigrated over to the United States during some upheaval over in the Soviet Union in the 1800s. They're similar to the Baptists in that they live separately from, quote-unquote, the English or the outside world. They dress plainly and kind of live simply. But they do readily adopt technology, especially farm technology, because they run big farms. They live in a communal way where everybody lives in the community and everything belongs to the community instead of individual ownership.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So it's socialism, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. I would encounter them when I lived in Montana. There were 2 or 3 different colonies around the Great Falls area, and they would come in on Saturdays when the city would have, like, farmer markets and sell all their wares to the locals. They would also come into town for other reasons, and let's just keep it PG and say to widen their gene pool.
No way. So that was okay.
Well, they would have to because of genetic issues that would arise from not having a wide enough gene pool because they lived separately and
for so long
and didn't recruit a lot of people to the community.
Wow.
Go forth and procreate.
Yeah, they missed out on that one. Wonder what Hutterites stands for in Greek. I don't know, but wow, dang. Rokon Tour.
It was formed by a guy named Jacob Hutter, so that's where they kind of took it from.
Oh.
Clever.
Okay. Yeah, you got to look out for those movements that end up being named after the guy who had the vision.
And don't ever drink Kool-Aid at the party.
No. Do not drink the Kool-Aid.
No.
Out of styrofoam cups that were in the back of the car.
Yes. Well, no, there's nothing wrong with that. Those are clean. They're clean. I leave the lids on them, too. Thank you. Somebody hang up on Rokon Tour. Have a great weekend.
Went too far,
See you,
man.
buddy. He's taking it a little too far. He does listen, though. There's no doubt about that.
I appreciate that.
Let's go to Red Top. Red Top, welcome to the program. Happy Friday to you.
Hey, guys. We had a drummer. In fact, he's a drummer that played on the music I gave you that all he drank was Jägermeister.
Woo,
He never had a cough, did he?
No. And
he never complained about it anyway.
you know it's cabbage juice, don't you?
I don't know anything about Jägermeister other than, doesn't it have a deer head as the logo?
I was thinking that was licorice based. Red
No. This is from Germany. Red cabbage. Distilled red cabbage, guys.
I can't even spell Jägermeister to do my usual computer search.
We'll try Meister.
Good.
Jägermeister.
Just take it from me because I'm a lot more intelligent than artificial intelligence. I am real intelligent.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
now,
made from grain.
Okay.
You were close.
Oh,
I mean,
come
it's
on.
close. I don't know. I'm just saying that's what it says on the interwebs.
I do not care what the internet says. It's damn cabbage
Okay,
juice,
let me
man.
see what
Golly
Jägermeister
Moses.
says. All right. Okay.
No, come on. Let's move on to something more important.
Okay.
Yesterday, panic on the food court at my house.
Okay.
I'm sitting there about 2:30, and I hear this row around. See, I have a giant 20-foot wall that holds up my mirrors.
Yeah, I remember
my mirrors
that.
Probably
Mhm.
weigh 500 pounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
20 mirrors, and I seem to have a lot of cat fights at night on the other side of that wall. It's a little nook and cranny that animals love to gather and try to kill each other. So I'm going, God, that sounds like a big cat. I mean, and it was a vicious growl. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, around my big old tree and the wall of mirrors, here comes this raccoon that was huge, man. He was big. And he was running fast, and all I saw was that striped tail go by and hear that growling.
Mm-hmm.
So I step out my back door, and that guy's on my patio. He is growling and snarling like a damn bobcat.
Why is he mad, Red Top?
I didn't ask him. I don't care.
They do sometimes
don't-
have rabies.
For one thing, he's running around a neighborhood full of cars and all this stuff. So he's kind of starting to get kind of irritated. And see, I got a patch of woods behind my house. So I go for try to kind of wish him away. He turns around and he is showing them teeth, and I'm going, I ain't going nowhere near this thing. So he runs down my driveway, up a pecan tree, and I'm trying to shoo him out of the neighborhood. And somehow he gets out of the pecan tree and he shoots down the street. But that was a foul-mouthed creature is all I got to say.
He might have needed some of y'all's Jägermeister.
Oh, he needed a lot of Jägermeister here to calm his butt down. Now, update on the war in Iran. The Kurds are now starting to move in from the north out of Iraq. There's a lot. The Kurds have been moving in slowly and doing intelligence the whole time, and a lot of the IRGC is tucked up in the north of Iran because the south is just being bombed to hell and back.
Mm-hmm.
They're losing so much ground every night, and the Houthis are starting to get hit too. And it seems like we're coming to a closing phase, which is extremely dangerous. The stuff behind the Saudis getting nuclear material is all about balance.
Yeah.
Just like we got balance between U.S., Russia, and China, they're trying to achieve a balance in the Middle East.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah. And you know, the Saudis realize they're going to run out of oil one day. They've been investing in all kinds of stuff besides that for years and years.
Yeah.
Now, lastly, but most important, what's happened in New York City, the stabbings this morning. I found out New York's population is at least 12% Jewish. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I'm not a bit surprised. It's always been a...
What is 12% of 9 million people? You don't have to Google it. It's about 1 million people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And only 330,000 people voted for Mondami. And they gave a record of voting in New York City. It's usually about 12% now. overall over the past 5 May oil.
Yeah, I mean,
elections.
because they've kind of given up. The regular people have given up. If there's
Well,
any regular people left in New York City.
Yes, they are. There's millions and millions of them, but they just don't go to the polls. And the Jewish are the stupidest of all because they have tons of Jewish people there that in all these cults, sects, we'll call them sects, X-E-X, S-E-X-T-S, that wear their braids on their chin and have the black stuff, all this. They show it openly, and it's they're just put a target on their head.
Yeah.
And they don't have the sense to go vote against it, just like the Alabamians who don't have the sense to go vote against Mayor Stephen Reed. 29% turnout here, guys. We got to do something about the
pitiful.
We're at the point where we've got to do something about the largest political party in Alabama, which is the non-voters. It's a disgrace. What's the matter with these people? District 3 is going back up for election here in Montgomery. I think it's September 1st or around the
September
beginning
1st,
of September.
that's correct.
Okay. I called city council to make sure I have my district right. There are now 15 people running for Marsha Johnson's seat, which obviously I never voted for. But we got to get citizens out of Montgomery to vote for city council and get moving on that.
All right.
So just encouraging the people to get off their butt and do it. Y'all have a great weekend. Roll Tide, go Trump.
Thank you, Red Top.
FYI, Jägermeister is a German herb liqueur that includes licorice root.
Yeah, it's
Thank you very much.
Well, it's one of the 56 ingredients.
Again, that's how I knew, because I can't stand
You know what I
licorice.
think's the only thing that's not in it?
Red cabbage?
We'll be back.
We're just kidding. Just kidding, Red Top.
We'll be back. Just tired of great Americans being ripped to shreds, history going away, and all of us cowering around because we're afraid somebody's going to call us a bad name. It is time to save the Republic.
You're listening to Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm just going to tell y'all who check out the YouTube every so often, I don't think in real life my hair is as white as it looks here.
Well, you got that light coming off the top.
I know, I got to fix that. I mean, this studio's not made for video, but I do have the, I don't know if you can see it in the, let's see, can you see it? You might can see, I put up one of the shirts, Sky, that I was talking about yesterday that I had on. I've got my commentator's robe back on now, but it says, "Put your trust in God, keep your powder dry." I thought it said something about prayer, but trust in God in my mind translated into prayer.
That's prayer.
But, yeah, it's good. It's got the, like I said, the Zelensky starter kit, green shirt, but you can see it on one of the views. It's right beside my famous piece of original art, the only piece of art that I've purchased in appreciation of art. Oh, wow. That is on there, and then the to my dad thing that my youngest son gave me, that one. I've got another one that my oldest gave me that's very similar back at home. I'm thinking about changing out the space shuttle photo though. Thinking about maybe swapping that out. Maybe that's what I'll do. I just swap out the background every so often. Let's go out to Reverend Precipitous. Reverend, welcome to the program. Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday. You know, we're over here at the campground behind Hudson-Hatchie, and you know, over here we draw water from the well and use outhouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
And listen, I've got a proposal for you before school starts back and you start driving the school bus. Mm-hmm. We want to start a little program because we're going to try to put the campgrounds all across the world, as many campgrounds as there are AI data stations. And we determined by listening to you today that you're the perfect announcer for our program to get everybody to do that.
Okay.
Are you ready for what we're calling the program? It'll be your program, what we're going to call it, too, in honor of you, because you really fulfill our needs today, absolutely.
Yes, sir, Reverend.
Are you ready to write it down?
I'm ready, Reverend.
Back everyone being every day, aesthetically, succinctly, old-timey now. Be Beason. Beason. Everybody come to the First Congregation of the Non-Denominational Church that comes over here. Donate some money to help us with our ministry to get this done. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you, Reverend. I like the sound of that program. Sky, here's the research. We did it. Jägermeister has no red cabbage, 50-something ingredients, but there is a chance that AI has helped us with this mystery.
For once?
Mm-hmm. There is a German entree made with red cabbage, pork cutlets, and mushrooms.
Yum.
I can go ahead and tell you that it looks as bad as the ingredients sound. And it is called Jaeger Schnitzel.
Aha!
So my guess is somewhere there was a running across, maybe a little blurry at times, maybe with some hunger at times, and Jägermeister might have been involved, and somehow Jaeger Schnitzel, and it became, hey, they got the red cabbage in the Jaeger Schnitzel.
I think you've solved another
That's what
one.
I think happens.
It's
And
gonna be-
you know why I know that's probably the case? Because that happens to me.
Yeah, happens to all of us.
Just kind of blend a couple of things together, and then you get it. Did you see the verdict in the Shiloh? What was the girl's name? The blonde-headed girl up in
Minnesota?
Is that Minnesota where she
I
was?
think so, where she supposedly said a bad word, and is that the
Yes.
one? Yeah.
So she was in Minnesota. She was the 37 or 36 when it happened, year-old mom that her child, a Somali boy tries to steal something from her, and then she gets mad and calls him a bad name, and then somebody steps in and starts giving her a hard time. And so the verdicts are in. They
were trying to provoke her.
That's what I thought.
That's what the video showed me. At
Yes.
least.
Well, she was found not guilty of disorderly conduct towards the child. She had 2 counts, but she was found guilty of disorderly conduct in some version toward the adult, the videographer, which I just...
Disorderly conduct.
Yeah, I'm trying to... That's what the first person says. Let's see. So Hendricks explained that a child had stolen from her 18-month-old son's diaper bag. She had called the kid out for what he was. That's her quote. She says that. I do not. And the viral video and subsequent doxing had placed her family in danger. They raised a bunch of money. She stated that the donations helped her family move to purchase a home with land in a safer area. Well, that's not a terrible thing. In August of last year, the Rochester City Attorney's Office charged Hendricks with 3 misdemeanor counts of disorderly conduct, later reduced it to 2. Each count carried a maximum penalty of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. She pled not guilty. Her attorney, a guy named Brian Caralus, consistently argued that her language, while offensive to some, was protected under the First Amendment and did not meet the legal standard, quote, for fighting words or disorderly conduct. Now, let me ask you this question, Sky, because I don't understand this. This is in Minnesota, right?
Correct.
So she says bad things to a child, like, get away from me. I think she uses the N-word. I think that's why it's controversial.
That's it.
And then this Somali guy gets all up in her grill and her face and her business and is filming her and is basically, if I remember right, kind of the say that to me kind of thing. Is kind of what you remember?
Something like he was definitely trying to provoke her. And
Yeah.
he was filming. I think a lot of this is set up, to tell you the truth, my opinion.
Yeah. Well, there's so much depth to this. So they go through it. She's found guilty for being mean to the adult.
Right. Disorderly conduct mean, though.
Yeah, which
That's the question.
And that's the thing. It must be one of these Minnesota kind of things because the attorney is saying that it doesn't meet the legal standard for, quote, fighting words.
Threatening, in other words.
So in Minnesota, you can get in trouble for your words, right?
That's apparent.
But at the same time, a leftist getting in the face of a police officer or a leftist getting in the face of somebody who happens to be conservative or has an America First clothing on or MAGA, they can get all up in your face. They can say whatever they want. They can just just right in your grill saying, what are you going to do about it? And I punched their lights out and just put them catatonic, cold as a tater right there on the street. Then I'm in trouble, right?
You better believe it. Yeah.
But
going to jail,
but
son.
where's the police to stop them from being in my face with fighting words? It seems to me like there's a double standard in that.
You think? Yeah.
That a leftist can say and do whatever they want, and if they reap their just rewards, the rewarder is in trouble.
Well, this is the problem with hate speech, okay, or hate crimes. The hate is in the who decides
who the hate
what
is.
it? Because I could say a word right now on this radio station, and I'll be fired immediately. You go 4 clicks down the radio dial, it's all over the place all day long.
Yeah.
No problem.
Did y'all know? And I'm sure this is not in the case because this can't even be part of the case. It can't even be part of the case, Scott. Sharmaki Bele Omar, who is the guy that this lady was mean to, okay, was charged with raping a 16-year-old after she ran away from her foster home.
Wait, the video?
The videographer guy.
Oh, okay.
This person says, why was he at a playground to start with?
Good question.
But I'm sure you can't ask this stuff. According to court records, this was posted by Lucky Teeter. According to court records, the teenager told law enforcement that Mohammed Omar picked her up at the Rochester Quick Trip and offered her a place to stay at his trailer, then propositioned and raped her after the teenager told him she would not have sex with him. The teen said she met Sharmaki Omar at the trailer later and that he assaulted her again. That's a weird story, but the teenager says she was kept at the trailer for just under 24 hours with no food, and the two men took her shoes to prevent her from running away.
I had no idea part two of that.
Well, I mean,
story.
that's just alleged. I don't know, but it's in the story. Do you think the jury got to know any of that?
Absolutely.
Or do you
not.
think the jury was told none of that matters?
No, that's not admissible.
Because that would make you biased, right?
Well, it should.
I mean,
but we're talking common sense now in Minnesota. So.
Yeah, we're in Minnesota where we're trying our best to make whatever, Shashukit or whatever his name is, an innocent victim, right?
Yes, he's from Somalia. He's got to be the victim
I
in every
forgot
case.
that.
Every case.
He is a victim. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You're not using your scorecard.
Look,
like
during
I
the
gave it
break,
to you.
I'm going to whip myself with whatever I can find here, a napkin or something. We'll be back.
Every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
You can learn things, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, Fred. Thank you.
But that's true, and I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. I am serious.
Welcome back in. Sky Mosley loves music.
I do.
You really do. I mean, I don't think people understand that you really, really do.
I didn't learn until much later in life that other people don't see music
like you do.
Right.
Like
So
it doesn't matter how
these-
many times we have the same.
No.
You just love it.
Yeah, well, I see it in different things flash in my mind.
Really?
And it
Yeah,
turns out that the other people, it just doesn't
They
really
don't do
happen
it.
to. No. That's why I love doing Vault, because that's a place I could go and express it, and people don't think I'm should be locked up in some kind of a padded room.
It's
You know?
for the same people.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm
it's
like,
cool when you describe it on Vault, but if you do it in the psychiatrist's office, they're gonna.
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah. Well, I mean, look, I appreciate it. I understand that people have asked me before. Look, y'all have the same bumper music. I'm like, Sky loves it. He really, really loves it. But you
We
do.
have it
I mean, you picked it out.
Well, Joey and I picked it out, but there's a second purpose to it. It's not that I like hearing the same songs over and over again. Quite the contrary. It's in a rotator. So
I got it.
We could do that as cues back when we started. Remember?
Right.
How that had to work. And also, if I play a tune like I would on a regular show, off of the computer.
Oh yeah, it takes a lot of work. Yeah.
Well, no, you won't be able. No, it's not the work.
It's a limited number of pies.
Right.
Yeah.
You won't be able to hear it.
You can go to the board. What do y'all call it? The library.
Library. Yeah, I
but
could
you
get
can't.
into that.
But you can't. But that messes up other people's stuff.
And it's also a limited, like I say, I get a song in my head that's going to fit perfectly with what you're talking about.
Yes, that's what I
All
want.
right, so I go, get in here, take my mind off everything else.
Right.
Go in here to the library, get in there and start, and it may not even be there.
Well, that's why.
There's
but that's
what,
also
about
why
500
people ought not
songs?
call you just to talk.
And distract me.
Yeah, I mean, Sky has a lot of stuff to do. Without Sky, the show does not roll. And then some folks just won't call and tell him about stuff. I mean, call him, be on the show. Call him later.
Yeah. Well, I'm also running my amateur psychologist office.
Well, I know you
during my
counsel
spare
people,
time,
and they're not paying for it. This is good advice. They shouldn't be
Usually.
taking advantage of your free counseling. Last thing on the ladies' trial up here. What is her name? Hendricks. The father, which I didn't even know there was a father involved. The father of the little kid who was stealing the stuff testified in court that he was afraid that Shiloh Hendricks, who is the lady, she's not a big lady. She doesn't look like a big lady to me. He believed that she was intending to strike, fight, or rumble with his son. Except that he did not say any of that to the police when they were investigating the situation earlier, but he was prepared to say all that in the trial. You know what else was in this? So the little kid who's kind of at the center of this, who did the stealing or whatever, and then it all started. I didn't know this was even a possibility, Sky, but the child. So the dad's testifying he was afraid that the Hendricks woman was about to strike or whatever, go after his son. The child has to wear a police-issued ankle bracelet due to his tendency to run off. Have you ever heard, can I call up to the police department in Alabama and say, hey, can y'all get me an ankle bracelet for my son? Can you do that?
Never heard of it before. Wasn't aware it was even part of this case. That's revealing.
I just didn't even know this. So they do that in Minnesota. We'll put the ankle bracelet on your kid for you because the kid keeps running off.
And also, allegedly taking other people's.
Well, I mean, look, if you run off, you got to take some other people's stuff. How you going to survive out there on the mean streets?
What is this kid? Was he 2
I don't
years
remember
old?
how old he was.
He's
I
a
was
toddler,
under the
I thought.
impression he was a little bitty kid.
I was too. Maybe not. He's got his own ankle monitor.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard of being born on parole, but this is ridiculous. He's born with his own ankle monitor.
What a mess. All right, so here's the in-depth scary part of this, okay?
I should have said that.
Well, no. I mean, it's true. They're right here. This is the world we live in. Why do you think, and you don't have to answer, I'm asking everybody, why do you think they found her guilty of one count but not the other?
Good question.
It's the split the baby deal.
Solomon was right.
Yeah, except Solomon said don't split the baby. He wanted them to not split the baby.
Right, he was right because of the outcome he perceived was wisdom.
That's right.
They actually missed the point.
They actually did split the baby, hoping that splitting the baby would keep them from being in trouble. Can you imagine being a juror in this state, in this town, and saying that the blonde-headed white lady is not in trouble for using the N-word? You know what kind of guts
Riots.
And what kind of, I mean, you have to be a solid individual, and you probably can't live in this town. Or
not after that.
somebody will say, oh, Scott was fine with using the N-word. Well, his house needs to be firebombed.
Yeah, you're
Somebody needs to accost his wife. Somebody needs to be bothering his children. My guess is this jury said, you know what? We're not going to make her completely guilty. I mean, you can say, is it still legal in America to say stupid stuff? Isn't
Depends
it?
on-
It's legal in America to say hateful stuff. Maybe it's only legal in America to say hateful stuff if you're really a hardcore leftist. You can hope that people die. You can advocate for people to die. You can threaten violence, but you can't say certain words. You can't say
You
certain
only
words.
hate certain people in this country.
In certain ways. I figured that the jury was covering their own butts.
I think you're right. Yeah.
You know who else covers their own
They
butt?
wimped out.
They did. You know who else does it?
Who's that?
I'll tell you on the other side. This is a very interesting story, but it segues well. We'll be back. We have to stop kowtowing to every little thing that they have said is bad and evil and they don't get to decide what is right and wrong. I'll bank my money on what God, the creator of the universe, says is right and wrong. It's worked very well for Western society for 2 millennia, and we've got to get with it. Got to fight the fight. We got to get after it. It's ridiculous. I'm just tired of great Americans being ripped to shreds, history going away, and all of us cowering around because we're afraid somebody's going to call us a bad name. It is time to save the republic.
You're listening to Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level.
So we are back. Not very much time left in the day. I probably will not get to this story. It'll hold over, though. We can hold it till later on. But I'm going to go to the phone calls, and we're going to take them in order. Kyle, welcome to the program. Hey, Kyle.
You were making a statement that how much Sky loves music. I'm just like him. I got a little thing for you. Sky doesn't see music as music. Sky sees music as the artwork that we decorate silence with.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's profound. I wish I'd have said that. Yeah.
The artwork we decorate silence with. Well, I mean, I like silence, except when I usually am the one breaking the silence, but I like silence.
Well, sometimes silence is okay.
I got you.
Yeah. Music speaks where
do
words
y'all
fail.
really see? I mean, do y'all see colors and stuff? Like does music just light up in your brain? Like
I have scenery and things that go on.
Really?
Particularly with instrumentals.
Oh, I like instrumentals better because I don't have to hear the person who can't sing.
With lyrics, I see, like, it's not necessarily related to the song, the story it's telling.
Do you do too, Kyle?
Yeah, I do. Of course, I've been an audiophile since I was 14, and I got 96,000 songs now. And it's just one of those things. Like every song presents as a music video in my head.
That is amazing.
Put her there, brother. Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah. Did y'all have the same therapist, or did y'all come up with this on your own?
You don't need therapy when you're an audiophile, man.
Well, I don't know about that. That your results may vary.
Maybe,
yeah. Yeah.
Kyle, I can promise you I'm talking not a scintilla of idea of what you're talking about, but I'm impressed by it. I mean, it's amazing. I've never even considered it.
And as I've gotten older, they become a little different. You still see the video. It's just I guess it draws on your experience a little bit.
That's amazing. The power of music. That really does amaze me. Kyle, I appreciate you, buddy. You have a great weekend, and I hope you get to listen to a lot of music. Sky, that's a real thing.
It's true.
Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely.
Was it Mozart or one of those guys that had that same kind of thing, or explained that they could almost see the music? I mean, it just plays in their head almost.
I've heard stories like that, but I was not aware of it until I was much older. I wish I'd have known it when I was young.
Right.
And I wouldn't have felt so, weird.
Weird. Strange.
Weird. We have a first-time caller.
Do we really?
That wants to make a quick comment.
Well,
you know how we feel about first-time callers.
They always go to the front of the line.
Yep, this is BB.
Hey, BB, welcome to the program.
I'm so excited to get to talk to you. I wanted to talk to you about the possibility of putting an ankle bracelet on the children. I know that you can go to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, and they will give you an ankle bracelet for an adult that you're caregiving for at home if they have dementia or Alzheimer's.
Oh.
So I'm pretty I'm pretty sure they would do that for a child, especially if they are special needs.
Yeah.
Under a certain age, and they tend to run away. But they will do that for an adult. And that's a good thing, because people with dementia and Alzheimer's, sometimes they just wander. They think they're going to the store or they're going back to work or whatever, and they just walk out the house and you can't find them, but the ankle bracelet helps find them. And the Montgomery County Sheriff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. We got to go, Sky?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. BB, thanks for the call. That's an awesome call. We appreciate it.
Little PSA to end the week.
That's pretty good. Don't be a stranger, BB. We'll be back on Monday. Y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe. See y'all.